Hi, everybody. My name is John Lynn. I'm the co-founder of Key Acceleration. Key Acceleration builds startup accelerators. We do that in partnership with corporations, investor groups, universities, and governments. And of course, startups. One of the primary ways that our programs work is by building an amazing ecosystem of startups, entrepreneurs, mentors, technology experts. And this podcast is about bringing the best of that network forward. So we're here to meet individuals, leading organizations, building incredible technologies that can share their stories and their learnings. And so today we're here with Anne Sullivan, CEO and founder of LifeStream Digital, to tell us a little bit about what she's working on and what she's learned. So Anne, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, John. It's great to be here. I'm very
so
excited.
Good to see you, as always.
It's great to see you again.
Can you tell us a little bit about what LifeStream is about? And we're going to take a step back, hear about your career and how you found yourself starting and building this business. But first, just tell us what you're working on.
All right, so LifeStream is a digital storage and portfolio solution that is unique in the way it stores the digital media, and it's for any digital media format, not just for pictures and video, but audio, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, even code can be put into LifeStream. And then it's also unique in the way it displays the digital media. So we really consider ourselves the next generation of digital storage. But then you can also create a digital portfolio to help share your value, your potential, your skills, your talents, and really whatever you want privately with anyone. And while we consider our solution to be available for everyone, our primary audience has been students who are applying to high school, college, or for a job or internship, because the digital storage solution really helps students bring together the information they need to create an impactful application. And then when the time comes, they can create a digital portfolio to supplement that application to help them stand out beyond their grades, test scores, or a resume.
And LifeStream's recently been the recipient of an award. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, we're really excited because Corporate Livewire awarded us the Digital Storage Solutions of the Year Award for 2024. So it really helps us really bring us to the next level and shows that we are the next generation of digital storage beyond what Google and other platforms are doing.
Congratulations on the award and all of the progress and success so far. We're proud to be a part of it.
Thank you.
So, and I want to talk more about LifeStream and what you've been building and learning in that company. But first, can you take us back and tell us a little bit about what's inspired you to start this company? Where are you coming from where it made sense for you to become an entrepreneur?
So, well, I'm a first-time founder. I'm actually kind of a serial entrepreneur. I was part of 5 startup companies prior to starting my own business, so it's kind of in my blood, I guess. I actually got into entrepreneurship by accident. I was working for a large company.
As you do.
And a group of people wanted to start their own business that were within that company, and they invited me to join them. As a crazy 23-year-old, I decided, sure, why not? And we had a great time. And we had a successful exit, so that was always good. The next 2 startups...
So you were 1 for 1.
We were 1 for 1. The next 2 startups, unfortunately, didn't make it for different reasons. And then I had 2 more startups make it, so that was exciting. But what really brought me to starting my own business, actually, after the last startup that I was part of, had a successful exit, I had decided to go into a nonprofit and work for the field of education, because I do have a degree in education as well as technology. So, but I obviously couldn't go into the classroom. So it was all in helping paper pencil assessments go online and bringing them to market, not only in the United States, but internationally. Where that connects to my business today is that I'd met lots of admission professionals all over the world. But what started my business was actually my own children as a mom. So my son, my kids went to a grammar school that ended in 8th grade, so everybody was applying out to high schools. And all the boys looked the same on their applications, and all the moms were talking about how all the boys look the same on the applications. And so we were talking about that and trying to find something to help them stand out in the application process. And our kids couldn't be more different. So we didn't understand how the admission professionals told them apart. Now, I had these contacts from my work in the field of education. So I asked them, how do you differentiate? And they said it's really hard. So when I couldn't find it, and I asked them, what if you had something that was easier for you to view a student more holistically and have all the information that you need about a student, about the quality of their work, their athletic or artistic talent, their community involvement, their interests, the things that they are passionate about. And they said, oh, well, that would be great, right? And then the moms were all like, oh, yeah, that would be awesome because, then they could stand out. So when I couldn't find it, I decided to build it. And that's how LifeStream was born.
Amazing. And well, we're going to come right back to that moment. Before we do, really interesting distinction that you draw there between being a founder and being an entrepreneur, right? Because when you do take up a role at an early stage company, are you being an entrepreneur, Anne?
It's not the same. I can tell you it's not the same.
It's not the same as being a founder, but I would still call it an entrepreneurial.
It is entrepreneurial when I was the first 5 people in the company within, in the last 2, I was the first, so it really was, I considered it entrepreneurial. That's why I consider myself a serial entrepreneur. But as a founder, it is very different when it's your business. Especially
now as the founder looking back at those. So it is still such an important distinction because on the one hand, there is something different about being an employee at a startup versus being an employee anywhere else. At the same time, it's not being a founder. So now that you have both experiences, what would you say is kind of the salient difference in those roles?
So as an employee, you feel a little less risk, I think, because you're almost dependent on that CEO or that founder that you're working with, and you believe in what their vision is, and you help them implement their vision, and you're building something with them, for them, almost. It's hard to explain. But as a founder, when it's your own baby, and it's your own passion and
your own liability.
It becomes very different. And, all of a sudden, you're the one who has to decide how are you going to do this? How are you going to prioritize it? Where are you going to find the money? Are you going to get investors? Are you going to take out loans? Are you going to, where? And all of these decisions fall on you. And anyone that works with you is looking up to you. So whereas when you're working for somebody else, you're looking up to them in a way, to the other founder when you're working at a startup, and they're the ones giving you guidance. You don't realize, I didn't realize the pressure that you have as a founder when other people start relying on you and you realize, it makes it different and it's your passion and you want it so badly when it's your own.
And so what was it about those experiences working at startups that made you do it multiple times?
I love wearing multiple hats. I've always been, I enjoy being that jack of all trades. And that's, I think, why I was really good at a startup. And I did work in more established companies in between the startups, and it just wasn't as exciting.
We hear that.
I always keep trying to find the new area of the company to get involved in just because I wanted to get more excitement in there. And there's something personally exciting about helping to build something from nothing and watching the company grow. The last startup, we literally started that company. It was an Israeli-based company, and we started it in the U.S. And it was the CEO and I. And our office was TGI Fridays in Chicago. And then we had a third person come in, and the 3 of us literally put the business plan basically on a napkin. But it was the most exciting thing to do. And it was great. And we enjoyed it. And I watched that company grow. And we got our first office space. From that first office space, then we had several office spaces by the end. And we had hundreds of people working there. and it's just so exciting to watch it go.
When it works out.
Yeah, when it works out. Yes.
Well, amazing that you've had that experience across several different ventures. And it sounds like the part of it that kept you going, this wearing many hats, is, I would say, part of the reason one would want to also be a founder.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't just wear many hats, you wear all of the hats.
Right.
And most of the hats don't exist until you make them.
That's true.
So that's super interesting. And it sounds like it was the actual problem that you're trying to solve here that ultimately inspired you to move on from that and to actually take on the founder role yourself. Can you take us closer to that moment of realizing, oh, this is strong enough that I want to be the founder this time?
Yeah, well, when we had, again, in talking to the admission professionals and really talking to the market that I was targeting and just seeing the potential of what could be, just got me, number one, excited about it. So then I started putting together the business plan before I did anything else and made any moves, and trying to figure out, what today what kids are doing and things like that. And so I tried to be thoughtful, I guess, to answer your question about the process and making sure that I wasn't just jumping into something that was going to just be a black hole. Because sometimes you say, well, there's nothing out there. And then you say, why isn't there anything out there? So you kind of have to ask yourself both of those questions
Absolutely.
when you want to start the business. And so, but I worked with the admission professionals that I worked with when I started, and I had wonderful support from people that I had worked with in the startups that I had been in. I have one gentleman who I met in the very first startup in 1993, and he's helping me with this. And another woman that I met at another startup. I have a great group of people, and we built a prototype to kind of just show admission professionals, say, is this really something that? And they loved it, and the parents seemed to be on board. So it was it just seemed to make sense. And I talked to my husband about it, and he said, you know what? You're not getting any younger. If you're going to do it now.
But still, I want to ask, because I think that the decision was a little bit even deeper than that. You could have gone to those former colleagues and some of those former CEOs that and say, hey, be the CEO of this. Mm-hmm. But you decided that you were going to be at the helm of this one. Well, did you think about passing this off to someone else?
No. Because I feel, so personal branding, and a friend of mine always said, you were into personal branding before personal branding was a thing. I always tried to help people be their best. I've always tried to help them understand their value, no matter who they are. And that is just kind of part of who I am as a person. I try to lift people up and try to help them be successful. And I think that's part of also the startup environment. I really want it to be successful. I want the CEO to be successful. I wanted everybody in that company to be successful and to have the product be successful, whatever product that was. With this program, when I thought about it, and when I put it together, as I put together the business plan, the excitement within my core about the ability to be able to help people showcase who they are and what they can do, and really, no matter who they are, everybody has value, and my program can help them show that. And to me, that's something that I wouldn't want to send to somebody else, because I don't feel like they could do it the same way I would. And that makes
you knew that it was aligned for who you are,
for who I am.
That you were you. It's not just something that you wanted to do more than other people. It was, you believed you're the right person to do it.
Yes.
I hope that's in the deck.
I should have that in the deck. Thank you.
Okay, great. No, that's really
I never
powerful
thought
stuff to
about
hear.
it that way, but that as far as me feeling like I'm there, but it's true. I felt like I was the right person who could do that.
Then, learning for the audience, that is absolutely a sign that it's time for you to build this business and not someone else. Okay, great. So we want to hear what's going on next for LifeStream and hear what you'd advise entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs in the audience to consider before they jump into the void. But first, can you tell us what's one high that you've had in the experience, and what's one low that you've had so far?
So I've had a couple of highs. Because sometimes it's the little things that kind of build you up. The first high was when we launched in 2019 and my own son was using LifeStream, and he put his portfolio in the common application for his applications to college. So he's the one who helped me spark the idea because of what we were trying to do when he was applying to high school. And then by the time we were able to get this launched, he was applying to college, and he was one of the first people to put LifeStream in his common application. So that was like a huge high for me because you could see it working. I could see the portfolio. I could see his portfolio.
For someone you may care about.
For somebody who I love very much. And then then I had the first, when the first university contacted me. I wasn't contacted. They contacted me and said I would like to have LifeStream in the admissions process. How do I do that? And I was like, okay, yay. And then I would say the third high would be watching students, because it's interesting when you talk to a student and you ask them to tell you about themselves. They're often tongue-tied. They really kind of sit down, I don't know, and they talk about like one thing that they've done or, sporadically. After a student starts using LifeStream, it's amazing because of the visual nature of LifeStream and the way we help them store the information and their experiences and their best work and everything else that they put in there. They can self-reflect, and they're able to then tell their story that much better. And it's amazing to watch the transformation of a student go from pre-LifeStream to kind of post-LifeStream, especially when they're looking at the college applications, because they're really able to talk about themselves and go through that interview process, if you will, much better and more effective. And then to see the scholarships and the acceptances that the average student is getting. I had one student who was an average student, but she was doing amazing things outside of school. And she, her college counselors kind of given her, she was actually being told not to apply certain places that she wanted to apply to because she doesn't have the right grades for it. But again, she had done amazing things beyond where she was at school. And so her mom called me and she said, okay, can LifeStream help her? So she built a portfolio. Not only did she get into the schools that she wanted to, and one of the schools that her counselor had said she'd never get into, she actually got a presidential scholarship to it. And she has, she had the average grades, she didn't submit test scores, but she has an amazing portfolio of things that she did that are
Did not even
related.
submit test scores.
No.
Wow.
Nope. And it's because of the impact she had already in the field that she was going to go into, but she couldn't showcase that anywhere in the application. So we gave her a place to showcase it, and because of that, they were able to see that.
So seeing the thing work, seeing the impact unfold, and what about a low?
What's that?
What about a low?
Oh, well, for as much experience as I had in startups, this has been really difficult, I've got to be honest. And it seemed before we launched, and actually even after launch, so it seemed that every step forward I took, I wound up going back 3. And it was really, as we were building it, we had a little setback. And then we launched 2019, right? Guess what happened in 2020? Pandemic. Nobody saw that coming. So that wasn't planned. So there's my 3 steps back. I had a really great high with my son sending, his portfolios and having some other kids send portfolios for the first time. 5 steps back with the pandemic. At least 5
And
setbacks.
you lose one of your most important, like, fuel reserves, which is seeing it work.
Seeing it work. That's right. And that's exactly right. So a little bit of deflation there too for us. And then it was kind of like, all right, what are we going to do? How are we going to reset? How are we going to get, people to want to use this? Because now everybody's just worried about staying healthy, staying alive, staying safe, and being able to even go to school because, the schools are having so many problems. So then fast forward to like just as the pandemic's coming out, I wound up having a major health issue. So I was, being that you're a kind of solopreneur at this point, I had I had support, but not formal help. It was tough. And so actually the accelerator was my reboot. Yes, you guys are my reboot. So because I knew I needed something and I needed to get myself back in the game. And I knew I needed to get other people. And I knew I didn't know everything anyway, and I needed to fundraise, and that's one of my weaknesses. So you guys are helping me with that. But that's one of the reasons why I applied to the accelerator, was because I needed that.
Well, I don't know if you know, but our new name, QUAY, when Anne went through the accelerator, we were called Sella. QUAY is a small harbor where small ships moor and relaunch.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, okay, so thank you for those vulnerable learnings. Thank you for the sharing tonight. What's next for LifeStream, and what's one thing that listeners should keep in mind?
So for LifeStream, we're really excited to now go out and start raising money. We've had a great year. We've had some great strategic partnerships this year, and then we've had the nice award that we just won. So we've had a good year. So we're looking to go out and fundraise now, build the team, and then just start making it even easier for the digital storage solution to work, and to create additional solutions to help really people with their personal branding and really help them stand out, whether it be among other applicants or just for themselves. So we really are we've got some great product ideas coming down the line and we're hoping to implement them moving forward. So.
And what's one thing entrepreneurs in the audience should think about before they take the dive?
Well, just make sure you kind of have a plan. Well, with a startup, plans change really quickly. But you should have a plan. And you should always know when you're veering off that plan and be okay with it. If you just make an active decision to veer, if you're going to veer. But have a plan and then kind of stay to your plan. But then, if you need to change it, be thoughtful about those changes, because a lot of startups that don't work, I know, kind of started out with, oh, this is a great idea, and they just started going and riding the bike, if you will, but then they lost the plan. And so I would say that just have a plan and think about where you want to spend your money. You have to be a little frugal about it. But match the plan and figure out where you need resources and where you can use technology and where you can, but have a plan.
Agreed. As an entrepreneur, the only path is the one that you're telling everyone you're on, so it better be there. But Anne, thank you so much for your time tonight. Congrats on all the success and progress, and we're proud to be a part of it. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you to Impact Hub for hosting us to host these podcasts tonight. And find LifeStream online, follow Anne online, and apply to our programs coming up this spring. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks so much, John.